When I need answers about anything to do with personal growth, I go straight to my mom and my aunt. Here they are, Priscilla Babin and Tina Gilliatt with the Sister Sauce. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Sister Sauce. This is episode 10, and I'm Priscilla Babin, and I'm here with my sister Tina Gilliatt and Clover.
Yay! Welcome, Clover.
We got a third. we got some good hot sauce and some good meat sauce and some good sauce for thought and sweet and sour sauce and a cat.
And we have another host, Diana.
Just when I said she won't bother us, here's the but.
But that's okay. Diana the cat is always welcome to join us. For those of you who are just listening, that's what that was about.
Tina, do you have some hot, spicy sauce today?
I do. It's a little bit repetitive of one I've done previously, but previously I've talked about how you should be kind to everyone and not say anything unless you have something nice to say. This is a little more specific. I just want to encourage everybody not to judge other people when you haven't walked in their shoes. And I am speaking about these people that are constantly criticizing other moms, other people of different backgrounds, and just not even knowing what they're about. So it's a little different from what I said previously, because I talked about how you don't know what's going on in a person's life. You have also mentioned that a couple of times in things you've said. And we definitely know that you never know what's going on in somebody's life until you take the time to get to know them. But this is a little different. This is about just judging people in general. I mean, poor Taylor Swift. I hate to keep bringing Taylor Swift up. I do that a lot, but I just, you know how I am. I'm for the underdog, and she's not an underdog, but lately she's been treated so badly that I feel sorry for her. And for what? Because she likes a football player. How sad is that? So, continuation of previous hot sauce, be kind, but additional specificity is don't judge other people so readily. Don't judge them at all, really. But yeah, that's it. It's real sweet and simple. It's hot sauce, though. It's not.
That sounds good. We got some good meat sauce today, too. We're going to be talking about Christmas traditions from around the world. And a little disclaimer, this is not a comprehensive list. There are so many. If you look up Christmas around the world, it will list something from every single country. And so we kind of picked and chose the ones that stood out to us and places we thought that would be the most common interest for people. It's really, there's no rhyme or reason necessarily to it. There were some places I left out because they're just so already well-known traditions,
Sure. Yeah.
So we didn't dig in too deep, but we did find some really interesting ones, huh?
Yes, and I want to say an additional disclosure or disclaimer is that we did not reference any of the websites used because there were so many, and the majority of them were repetitive, and we are just giving you mostly common knowledge and some background information that we found. But you can just Google it yourself and you'll find tons of information. And also, I wanted to say, Clover, feel free to interject at any time.
Yes.
We know you're here for your special report, but we'd love to hear from you on anything else you want to share.
Of course. If you do want to know about Christmas in a specific country, a lot of the information we have comes from the tourist websites. either tourism in general, like the different companies that you can get packages, travel packages through. They have a lot of this stuff, and also the local ones. Like I got a lot of stuff from Australia from their tourism website that's for visitors. So those are good places to look. And I thought I said Australia and something just popped in my head that I'm gonna have to interject later when we get on Australia. I'll just have to remember because it was something I didn't write down.
It was
I think
interesting
of it.
reading, though. I tell you that. Lots of
Mhm.
lots of good stuff.
Yeah, there's some traditions on there I'd like to steal for us.
Mhm.
All right. Do you want to start it? Shall I start?
Sure. I'll start with England.
Okay.
England, Christmas in England, Christmas is celebrated with mince pies. I'm not sure I would like that. Delicious puddings and treats. And people pull Christmas crackers. Now, this is not crackers that you eat. This is like poppers, sort of, that are festively decorated tubes of paper and cardboard that pop when they're pulled apart, and they're full of small trinkets and toys. If you've ever been to Pier 1 Imports, you've probably seen some of these. I remember years ago, I'm talking 50 years ago, when I was young, my brothers and I would walk to Pier 1 Imports and buy stuff like that. And those poppers were among the things we bought. We loved those. The pop sound that you hear comes from the wrapping paper being soaked in chemicals, which kind
Mhm.
of disturbed me when I read
Yeah,
that.
that was a new one on me. I didn't
I
know.
know. And Boxing Day is the day after Christmas, and it's a popular day in England for post Christmas sales and shopping. It's also the feast of St. Stephen and a day to be generous and give donations. I really like that. So you're blessed on Christmas Day, and then the day after Christmas, you share donations and generosity with others. And the etymology of Boxing Day is not 100% certain, but most people think it derives from the idea that poor boxes were opened on that day to give alms to those in need. I
Hmm.
thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and you'll see a lot of other countries celebrate Boxing Day too. It's
Yeah.
interesting how it kind of got around to different places, but not really here in America so much. The
But I will
U.S.
share this
anyway.
with you. I thought about as I was reading through all the different traditions, I thought, wouldn't it be fun if we started adopting some of these
Mhm.
traditions? Okay, so I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I mean, there's a Hallmark movie where they're staying at an inn, go figure, and they celebrate all these Christmas traditions from around the world. And it looked like a lot
Oh,
of fun. We
I
could
like
make
that.
Christmas poppers and soak them in dangerous chemicals for the children.
They mustn't be very dangerous.
No, I know. Just the word chemicals is a turnoff, right? They should
Yeah,
say they soak the wrapping paper in special sauce. That's what they should say.
special poppin' sauce. Well, not too far from there in Ireland, we're staying in the same neck of the woods here. In Ireland on Christmas Day, this one, I don't want to adopt this one. They had a old tradition that was over 250 years old of going to swim on Christmas Day, which I know maybe it's not as cold there at Christmas, but I think it is. I don't know why you wouldn't want to. I know a lot of people jump in cold water for fun, but that does not sound like fun to me. But there's a very popular swimming spot called the 40 foot. And I don't know what that means. I couldn't find anything on what the 40 foot, the meaning of the 40 foot is, but they call it the 40 foot, and it's a little beach area. And it used to be exclusively for men to go swimming there. It was like a club kind of a situation, but now anybody can go. And for like over 250 years, it's been a tradition of going to the 40 foot to go swimming on Christmas Day in the cold water. And that has kind of spread to other parts of Ireland. So there's other coastal areas where there's Christmas Day swimming that happens, but ugh, it makes me cold just thinking. I can't. No thanks. I had my coffee. But another one is that a lot of people light a candle and leave it in the window on Christmas and or on, I don't know if it's Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, to as a tradition that started when the Catholicism was outlawed. And the candle in the window was a sign that it was safe to celebrate Christmas Mass. And so they would put this candle in the window and that reminds me of it reminds me of Pete's Dragon. That's Candle on the Water, right?
Yeah, candle on
And
the water.
Encanto, yeah. But a candle in the window sounds like a nice tradition,
Not to be
although
confused with Candle in the Wind, which is Elton John, but
right. If you put it in the window, it might be in the wind. It also might set your curtains on fire. So
I
be careful.
know that was my first thought. What does Pastor Katie always say? We have fire extinguishers in place, but we'd prefer not to use them.
Exactly. There was another old tradition and that started a long time ago, and it was not a real pretty tradition. They had these people called the Wren Boys, and they actually used to hunt wren, the bird. They would hunt them, and then they would go around and sell them or something. And then they changed it, and it was a tradition to go around and collect money to bury the wrens or something like that. I don't know. It was a little weird, but now they've changed it up. And the Wren Boys, it's not just boys, it's all different kind of people who go around wearing straw hats and colorful clothes, and they have their faces painted. And sometimes they have like feathers and stuff on. And they go around and knock on doors to collect donations on the 26th, which is Boxing Day. And that is similar. I don't know if they necessarily think of Boxing Day in Ireland, but they do think of generosity. So they have a collection, that gets taken up. And then January 6th, which we here in our area we think of it as King's Day or Epiphany, is a day of rest for women because they've been cooking and preparing for the Christmas season and they need a rest. I like that one. I want to take that one.
I love that one
It's
too.
National Moms Nap Day. And lay around. Have our chocolates.
Yeah, but then you would have to have a day for retail workers, a day for church workers who don't get time off. What else?
A lazy day. There should just be a holiday called Lazy Day.
There's, as you know, I've been preparing our church services for this weekend, and there's a prayer petition in one of them that talks about granting peace to the people who have been overworked during the Christmas season. And it's a long list, like retail workers. And I thought that was kind of cool that was in there. Spoiler alert. I'm talking about Scotland now. Now, here's the interesting thing is that Christmas was banned for 4 centuries almost in Scotland. And that was between 1560 to 1958. 1958. It seems like forever ago because we're in 2023 now, but for those of us who were born not long after that, it doesn't seem that long. And to think that they didn't celebrate Christmas. And when I read that, I tried to figure out why, and I didn't really find anything in particular that stood out as the reason why, other than that there weren't a whole lot of Christians in that area. So if you know more than that, first you can interject. But so they weren't allowed to have celebrations or decorations for Christmas until Christmas Day became a public holiday in 1958. And so some of the things that they do now to celebrate, they bake unleavened Yule bread with a trinket inside, which I thought was interesting. Like a reference to king cake, maybe, possibly, but I know some other countries have done similar. And whoever finds it, the trinket, will have good luck. And then they also burn a rowan twig, which is believed to dissolve bad feelings between family members for Christmas, and they also celebrate Christmas Mass at midnight. When I was thinking about the rowan twig, though, you know how when they're blessing a house, they go through with the sage or whatever it is?
Hmm.
And I was like, I wonder if that's what that's like. So they like, you could do that, you know?
Have you seen these TikTok videos with moms walking around burning sage over her kids because they're fighting?
Okay, true story. True story. I had a friend when PJ was in rehab and was getting out of rehab. I was like praying, praying, praying that when he comes back in his house, please don't let anything. And a friend of mine gave me some anointing oil, and I anointed all the door frames in my house and prayed that no drugs would go past it. I don't know if drugs ever went past those door frames in that house or not, but then I lost the house. So the blessings went down with the flood. But anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting. I would be the one to do that with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
My kids don't even let me hug them because they say they know I'm praying for them, but not true. PJ used to say that.
Ah,
So, what do they
well,
do in France, Chris?
in France, this
France.
one's interesting because living here in the greater New Orleans area, we have adopted some of the ones from France. So we have them
Hey,
here.
can I'm just got to interject this. There was a Hallmark movie
Oh,
where they
no,
did all the traditions from France. So I knew all this stuff. Go ahead.
of course there
A
was.
Hallmark movie for everything.
Well, and, you know, in the different countries, they have different names for Santa Claus. I think in the Great Britain, Ireland, Scotland area, they call him Father Christmas.
I think you're
In
right.
France, they call him Père Noël, and the children write letters to Père Noël, and they get a postcard back in the mail. And it is a law that if they write a letter, they have to get a postcard back. And I thought that was so
I
cool
wonder if you're not from France if you write a letter and send it to
to
France.
Père Noël. Maybe.
Do
I
you
don't
get a
know.
postcard? But that would be interesting to try.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a deadline. We'll have to check into that.
Yeah. You have to
Probably
start
too late
now.
to send a letter to France now.
And the midnight dinner that is before Christmas on Christmas Eve is called Le Réveillon de Noël. I don't know if I pronounced that right. French people can come slap me. I got a D in French, so they have that midnight dinner, and they used to believe this is a funny one. They don't believe this anymore. They don't tell this tale anymore. This is one of those little tales they used to tell the kids that in addition to Père Noël, Père Foutard would come along with Père Noël to spank the naughty children and judge them impish and not admirable. Um, so that's a feisty one. And French children do not hang up stockings by the fireplace. They put their shoes next to the fireplace to be filled with gifts. And our local king cake tradition of having a round brioche style bread decorated with sugars with a trinket inside. In our case, it's a plastic baby. That comes from the French La Galette de Rios. No, it's de Roi, not Rios. I said that wrong. I went backwards. So that's galette is cake, is a cake of king, is king cake. So
That's
that
cool. That's cool. I wonder,
definitely
I
like
don't
it.
know, I didn't see it, but I mean, our king cake is obviously a take on that.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
And then the Scottish version of it too. And there's somewhere else, I forget which one. There's another country that has a king cake. And of course, the king cake, I'm assuming they have their king cake after Christmas, around Epiphany when we have ours.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. I bet none are as good as the king cakes from New Orleans, though.
Well, we're kind of
We're a
biased.
little biased, though. Yeah. All right. So next is our heritage, Germany. And in
Mm-hmm.
Germany, children receive their stockings to hang on December 6th, which is St. Nicholas Day. And then they open them filled with treats on the 7th. So by the
Mm-hmm.
time we celebrate Christmas, they've already
Started
done their
and
thing. And the day before the Feast of St. Nicholas is Krampus Nacht. People dress as the devil Krampus. And I will tell you that one of Olivia's favorite little videos on YouTube is something about Christmas Krampus.
uh-huh.
But I would put it in our show notes, but I think it gets a little saucy. So
Yeah,
I won't share it for that
scary.
reason.
And
But
there's a
I had never
Krampus
heard of
parade
Krampus
here.
until she showed me that video. What?
We have a Krampus parade here, a crew of
Do we
Krampus.
really? I had no
Yeah.
idea. I'm sheltered. Oh, okay. But that's kind of weird, associating a devil with Christmas. All celebrating happens on Christmas Eve with family doing all the decorating the tree. And I've heard that where people wait until Christmas Eve to decorate and eating throughout the day, holiday of mine. See, this is why we eat so much because we're German. And a bell is rung to let them know it's time to enter. I'm sorry, I skipped the line. The Christ child brings the presents while the children wait outside the main room. And then they ring a bell and it lets them know to come in. And then the gifts are open, a feast is had, and then they head to church. Sounds just like us.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Luther, I found this really interesting. Martin Luther was the first to add lights to his tree for Christmas after a walk in the woods at night when he saw the moonlight shining through the evergreens. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Very nice little addition there. And then it
Right.
talks about the Christmas pickle, or let me see if I can pronounce this. Weihnachtskerk. Was I even
Something like that.
close? Probably not. It was said to be a German tradition of finding a glass pickle shaped ornament on the tree for good luck, but most Germans have never even heard of that. Okay, so I have a pickle on my Christmas tree and we hide it every year. Somebody gave it to me with a little card that explained that you're supposed to hide it in the tree. So we have done that every year, but nobody ever goes looking for the pickle. I will tell you that.
We should go
I'm
over
lucky I
to.
get help putting up the tree.
We're gonna break into your house and find the pickle.
That would be awesome. You could do that. Now, there is a tradition or the act of totally lost my place. I'm sorry. There was a tradition in Germany where glass blowers would create fruit and nut shaped ornaments. And this was back in the 1800s, though. So they're thinking that maybe a pickle was involved in that, and that's where it came from. Maybe the pickles were rare ones and they would
Maybe
hide them for
so.
that reason. Who
Maybe
knows?
there's only one dude who made pickles.
But there's a lot of theories out there about it. So
Pickle maker.
Or it was like the only thing that like the amateur glass blowers could make. They were like, it's a pickle.
It didn't turn out like anything else. We'll call it a pickle.
that's funny. It's kind of like when you're a pottery maker and you make your first thing and it looks like a blob and you say, look, I made a rock.
That's why they hide it, because they don't want anybody to see it.
That's so true. I think you just uncovered the mystery, Clover. That's it for sure. I will say that my pickle looks like a real pickle, but again, it's plastic, it's not glass. So
Does it look like Larry from VeggieTales?
I would imagine if I put eyes on it, it would.
Ooh, we used to have a bag of googly eyes and we lost them. Yeah.
That would be funny.
Put some googly
I
eyes.
probably have some googly eyes. I'll have to look for that. It'd be kind of creepy though. You're sitting on the sofa watching TV and a pickle is watching you, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of gross.
I'm in a Larry Boy outfit with the plungers.
For sure.
All right. We're moving over to a different area, to the neutral zone. Norway and Sweden. In Norway and Sweden, they celebrate with lots of lights. They consider Christmas time to be a festival of lights. And on December 13th, they have the Feast of St. Lucia, who's actually a Sicilian saint. not really sure. There's a lot of other places St. Lucia is thought about, and none of them are Sicily. So I'm not really sure why she's so popular in other areas. But St. Lucia was a saint who I believe she was martyred, but she also was known for rescuing Christians during the fourth century from persecution. And she is remembered as wearing a crown, like a wreath on her head, and it has candles. She's lit up with candles. And in each Scandinavian town, they elect a young lady to represent St. Lucia, and she dresses in a white robe with a red sash, and she wears a crown of lingonberry vines with candles on top. I don't know if they use real candles. It sounds like you get a nice hot wax of your head. Unless maybe they put something over, or maybe it's fake candles. I don't know. And then she goes out with a basket and goes through the town handing out saffron rolls, which sounds delightful. And she walks with a procession of boys, young men who wear white pajama-like outfits. I'm picturing like karate outfits. And they sing carols. And in the homes, maybe because it sounds like, I mean, I'm thinking like here, how many of these St. Lucias would you need before these ladies would get exhausted walking around? But maybe it's like a parade on a main road or something. But in individual homes, families who like to celebrate her, they traditionally will pick the eldest daughter to dress as St. Lucia. I guess if they out of luck, if they don't have any boys, or maybe a cousin or something. And they have her dress like St. Lucia, and she serves coffee and baked goods.
She's just Renee up as Lucia.
Yeah. Where's Renee? We're gonna go dress Renee up as,
and then she
Lucia
will go to Starbucks and bring us.
There you go. Okay, so moving from Europe to North America, we know what our traditions are in the States, but we wanted to share some of what the folks in Canada do.
Mm-hmm.
And how do they say it? A.
And you've been there.
I have. I visited the beautiful, beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. Absolutely loved it. And I will mention, guess what? Lots of Hallmark movies filmed in Vancouver. Because it's a great
No way.
I bet you didn't know I knew that. All right. So in Canada, their traditions are very similar to ours. They decorate the Christmas tree, they give gifts, but they also enjoy some of the British traditions like plum pudding, and other European treats. And they share the Christmas crackers, the poppers, filled with small gifts. But they also celebrate Boxing Day. They are one of the places that celebrates Boxing Day.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, A. We're moving on to another continent. We're going to Asia. And in Japan, which we actually have a family member in Japan right now. My nephew Sean, his wife Sarah, and her whole family are over there right now, doing some educational stuff. And her dad works there now. But in Japan, Christmas is more or less a commercial holiday because there's not a lot of Christians in Japan, so it's more secular thing, and it's more an Americanized thing that has gone over there. But the funnest fact from Japanese Christmas is that they associate Christmas with KFC.
As in Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yes,
right?
I do mean Kentucky Fried Chicken. And the reason is back in 1974, when I was only a babe, apparently Kentucky Fried Chicken had some kind of ad campaign where they connected Christmas and chicken. And for some reason, for the Japanese people, that just stuck. So they eat KFC on Christmas. I don't know. little wacky, but okay. I love fried chicken. Um,
KFC
I'll
is
eat.
the best one, but it works.
Oh.
Oh, right. Is that gonna start something?
In our house, no, in our house, we would, yeah, no, we are not sponsored by KFC, so we can say that. In our house, it would be Cane's Chicken or
Thanks, y'all want
Popeyes
sponsors?
for my husband. Yeah, as long as you don't get food poisoning from
There. Oh.
it. Remember, AJ used to get sick every time he ate. What was that old one? Churches. I don't know if that even exists anymore, but I think he had
No.
like an allergy to seasoning or something because nobody else would get sick and he would get sick. Okay, let's look at South Korea. While about 30% of the people in South Korea are Christians, they do not, no, I'm sorry. While only about 30% of the people in South Korea are Christians, they do enjoy many Christmas traditions, like eating meals together and singing carols. It would be interesting to hear some Christmas carols sung in Korean, huh?
Mhm.
That would be kind of cool. There is a large festival and tree in Nampadong. I don't know if
Mhm.
I'm pronouncing that right, where they have performances, contests, and fun, kind of like the Christmas festival in New Orleans, I would assume.
Mhm.
Probably not, but I mean, I'm just guessing.
Yeah, probably like the big tree lighting in Washington, maybe, or in New York
I've
with Times
always wondered, have
Square.
you ever been to like any place other than Louisiana for Christmas? Oh, well, I know you were in Florida
Not
when you
well,
went.
not on Christmas, really. I mean, um, the most interesting one was we went to where were we? SeaWorld or Disney one year during Thanksgiving week, and everything was decorated for Christmas. And this
Oh
was before you
yeah.
were born.
Uh,
I bet. I
And
bet. I was thinking like, yeah.
that was neat. Yeah, to see the stuff in the theme parks decorated all up for Christmas is fun. And we went for Thanksgiving one year to Tennessee. And so there was a lot of Christmas decorations already up when we went, and that was neat. That Apple restaurant, I don't remember what it's called, the Apple Barrel or something like that, in Tennessee. Trying to think of what town that's in.
we were in Gavin.
Uh, yeah, I don't remember exactly where it is, but it was on the way. And we stopped there, and there was a guy dressed as Santa, and they had decorations everywhere and trees lit up. It was so pretty. It was really neat. But
We like to
I got
travel
it.
around like those couple of weeks before Christmas too, as you know. And we went one year to Portland, Oregon, and spent a day in Seattle, which is, I think, if I remember correctly, it was about a 2 hour drive to go to Seattle. And so in Seattle, we went on the Christmas ship that goes around Puget Sound and has all the Christmas caroling at the ports, like you're on the Christmas ship, and you, as you pass each port, they sing Christmas carols from the shore to the people on the boat, and Santa was on the boat. It was kind of fun.
Oh,
We also did this is something that's around the United States that it's not just Portland, several other states do it where they have the Christmas tuba celebration. And so there's like all these tubas that play together. And AJ and I went to one in Seattle that I think there were, I think like 70 tubas. It was really fun. And we
mhm.
enjoyed that. And then in Portland, they had something similar with the boats. They decorated all these. Our hotel was right near a what's it called? A river walk. And
Mm.
if you walked on the river to go to like the little restaurants and all, in that area, you could see the ships decorated like Christmas with Christmas lights. So pretty. One
Mm.
year, I'm going to do that again. I love that.
Yeah, that sounds neat.
Yeah, yeah. So in Vietnam, Christians celebrate with life-sized nativity scenes and a Yule log.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We also have China. China
Oh,
is,
I'm sorry. I skipped that.
that's
Go ahead.
okay. We'll just switch it around. In China, Christmas is mainly celebrated in the more prosperous areas, and it's much like the westernized version that we have here. They also enjoy Christmas apples, which are they, I don't know, it was not clear to me if they decorate the apples or if they decorate the cellophane that they wrap the apples in. But one way or the other, it's colorful. And Old Man Christmas gives performances accompanied by two female elves, which sounds that sounds interesting.
My husband could pass for Old Man Christmas. He's going to watch this and I'm going to have to hear about that. But these little kids, because of his white beard, no, when he's umpiring little kids around Christmas time, they're like, "Are you Santa?" So, and then he growls at him and says, "Yeah, or are you naughty?" No. All right. In Malaysia and Singapore, they celebrate similarly to those in Britain and they enjoy fireworks.
Mm-hmm. There's
That
somebody else that does fireworks. We'll get to them. I can't remember who it was.
Somebody in their neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah, our neighborhood too, Clover. They were already popping fireworks last night.
Yeah,
Craziness.
like 2 days ago. Oh my God.
That's crazy.
That might have been for the Saints game. I don't know.
Oh, I wonder if that's what
You
that
never
was
know.
about.
But they should have done it earlier because we won in the middle
But
of
the
that.
Saints lost.
Oh, I thought we won this week.
No, we played what's today, Friday? We played last night and we lost.
Oh, last night. I didn't watch last night. Don't tell nobody. Sunday we won though. That was fun. That was people popping fireworks because we lost. That's rude.
I know. That is rude. I'm with you.
Well, let's see what they do in the Philippines. In the Philippines, people love Christmas. They're they're your comrades, Tina. They love Christmas. They're Christmas people. And they start decorating and getting ready for Christmas in September. I knew there was going to get a gasp from this one. The official celebrations don't begin until December 16th, though. So they kind of prepare, but then they don't really go crazy till the 16th. And then they have parades and performances and paroles. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. There are parole. I don't want to say paroles. That don't sound right. Star-shaped lanterns made of bamboo and paper, and they hang them up everywhere, apparently. That's what
I like that. My husband spent 2 Christmases in the Philippines. So it's good to know he had good celebration. So in Latin America, Christ's birth is celebrated on December 24th or Noche Buena. And I looked up the pronunciation of that because I knew I would probably butcher it. And it's the pronunciations that I've found. There's so many different ones. There's like 3 different pronunciations. But anyway, I think the one I selected was Noche or Noche Buena. After opening gifts and having a meal, they enjoy midnight mass, followed by whatever? Fireworks. There's your fireworks. In Caracas, people have a tradition of roller skating to church.
That sounds dangerous.
They would have to have like an ambulance at the church ready for me, right? or paramedics along the road.
They catch you in a big net or something. Come down the hill.
Nativity plays and parades are also popular in most Latin American countries. And in Brazil, you should watch for a character who's trying to steal the baby Jesus, also referred to as Niño Dios. Children in Brazil put a sock by the window. Okay, so when I read this is for Papa Noel to fill their sock. I was wondering, is that like one of the other countries that said they provide them with the sock? But this one, if they put their own sock, the younger they are, the smaller the sock is. So I thought that was kind of a ripoff. I would just say that.
That's true.
I hope that they're allowed to use like their dad's sock or something.
Yeah. Or stocking.
But Happy Noel fills their stocking. And they also celebrate King's Day on January 6th with a king cake and a baby Jesus inside.
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
More king cake. All right, we go into another continent now. We just jumping through the continents. We kind of started with the heavy hitters in Europe, so there was a lot of that continent. And then all these other ones, it's a little less, but Oceania, which when I was doing research, did not realize that that was considered its own continent.
I didn't either.
I always thought Australia was its own continent, and I just figured New Zealand was an island. So I guess that's how you lump them together. But Australians and in New Zealand, the Aussies and the Kiwis, they celebrate with the Kris Kringle tradition of giving gifts secretly, like Secret Santa. And they also love a good Christmas barbecue at the beach on the Gold Coast. And then they also observe Boxing Day. So,
Boxing Day.
so throw some shrimp on the barbie. My Australian accent sucks.
I don't do accents, you know that. Everything I do sounds the same. It's just nothing to it. All right, moving to Africa. Let's look at Zimbabwe. Christmas Day in Zimbabwe begins with church in the morning, followed by a day of parties and celebration. And when it becomes, I'm sorry, totally skipped that. The people start at their own houses and then they go door to door to celebrate with family, friends, and neighbors. What is that called? There's a name for that. I was getting ready to say a pub crawl, but that's not it. What is it? Remember? Progressive dinner.
Progressive dinner.
You remember progressive dinners from when we were young? Yeah.
Yes, and we did that when we lived in New York. They had that. And we got stuck in the snow by somebody's house.
That could be a Hallmark movie.
Uh-huh.
You know what we should do? Every time I mention Hallmark movies, we should have to take a shot. We would be drunk by the time we would get off of this.
Maybe a coffee shot.
Yeah, there you go. We could take a shot of coffee.
Oh, Lord. We'd be so keyed up by the end.
We would be sauced.
Yes. Uh-huh. All right, let's go to Tanzania. In Tanzania, in January, the families purchase a cow or a goat. And I don't know what happened, so I don't know what you're sorry for. Is your computer falling off the table?
My phone. Sorry.
Your phone. Oh. In January, the families purchase a cow or a goat and they start feeding it and keeping it healthy and fattening it up for Christmas at the end of the year when it becomes the main meal Christmas Day. I don't know if I could do that. Many villages also brew their own beer for Christmas, and everybody goes to church and gets a new Christmas outfit. That sounds like us for Easter.
I enjoyed hearing about Tanzania, but you know, I was kind of like really feeling bad for that cow because he thinks, wow, I'm so well loved.
Yeah.
And then whammo.
Get attached. Come on, Bessie. Let's get ready for Christmas.
That's a question. Do they name the cow before they treat it so nicely and then butcher it? How awful. All right. So in Kenya, Christmas is a huge festival. I would like to go to Kenya. Hundreds of people gather around bonfires and enjoy barbecued meats and vegetables. I like that. And there is lots of dancing and singing.
I like that too. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, Egypt is a little different. Egypt, the Christmas in Egypt is celebrated by Coptic Christians, and they don't celebrate till January 7th. They wait until what we consider after Epiphany. So we're already taking our tree down and stuff when they start celebrating. And they fast, I believe they fast the whole day of the 6th of January. And then they go to a church service that doesn't start until late at night, like around 10 p.m. And most of the services and are over and they end around midnight, but some of them go all the way until the sun comes up. And then they go back to their house and they celebrate their breaking of the fast with a huge feast with their family. So that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna throw another one at you. Do you guys have any traditions? I know you have one.
Yeah.
If you,
Well, the one that you're probably thinking of is that I buy Christmas ornaments. Is that the one you were thinking
Mhm.
of? I buy Christmas ornaments every year that have the year on them, and it's for my kids mostly, but I started buying some for us as well. But I take a photograph from the year and put it on an ornament, or I pick something that the kids or we are really into. Like, I think PJ has probably 5 saints ornaments on the tree. And Livia, from when she was little, has tons of SpongeBob ornaments on the tree. But we put their name in there, the date on it, and every year they have their own box of ornaments, and then they could put them on the
is
tree.
bigger.
And we still get ornaments for PJ even though he's passed. Yeah.
We started a new one a few years ago. There was a joke, was that on Vine?
Yeah.
There was a joke on a Vine video. You know, the Vine was the little short videos before TikTok came along. And YouTube kind of took over. But on Vine, there was this joke of what does he say? Look at the tree.
Look at the tree. Brandon,
Look
what
at
kind of tree it is. It's a Chris pine.
It's a Chris pine. And they had a picture of Chris Pine on the tree. So we have I don't know if the picture is on the tree.
Oh no, it's
We used to have
progressed.
we started out putting a picture of Chris Pine on our Christmas tree. And then our Christmas angel pooped out on us. I think her head fell off and her candles wouldn't light anymore. And we needed something for the top of the tree. And we got, I don't even remember if we bought that, I think we ordered it on Amazon.
Yeah.
When Chris Pine was in Wonder Woman, they came out with action figures. So there's a Chris Pine action figure from Wonder Woman as his character in Wonder Woman. And so we have that, and he's wearing he's wearing a military uniform, I think.
Yeah.
But he's got a rifle.
Yeah. At first, it started out as just the action figure, and then Mom made a little Christmas hat for him.
Yeah, we made him a little hat. So he's wearing a little Santa hat. And he was at the top of the tree for 1 or 2 years. And then this year we put a star on top of the tree and he's clinging to the star. So that's our Chris Pine tree. That's pretty funny. So that's our weird tradition. That's a weird one. Yours is sweet.
So do y'all have white lights on your tree or colorful lights?
White. We have
Us too.
white lights on the tree, and we have various colors, white and color lights outside on the porch. So
I
we
think
have
our tree actually can switch the lights to color, but
that'd be cool.
I don't think we ever do that.
I saw one online yesterday, a video. The mom comes out and she has the 2 kids, the mom's videoing these 2 kids, and they have this thing that looks like a wreath in a box, except it goes all the way to the middle. And she's like, let's show them how we hang this. And she's intentionally not saying what it is. And they go over and there's like a pole on the floor, and it looks like a broomstick, basically, standing up in a stand. And they take this wreath thing, put it on the top, and drop it down, and it's a tree. It's shaped like a tree, but it's just collapsible. And it's like, that is the kind of tree for me, because the tree I have now is 8 foot and it must weigh 150, probably more than that. I don't know what that thing weighs. It's so heavy, and I dread getting it out and putting it away.
You know, years ago, I don't even think you were born yet. Mom did a Christmas tree for a record store. And they made the Christmas tree out of polyurethane foam. Yeah. And the way it worked was they got this huge sheet of probably 2 or 3 inch thick polyurethane foam, and they cut a big circle out of it, and then they cut inside circles so that the top was the smallest circle. I don't know if I'm describing it well, but it was like donut shaped. So it was donut shaped rings that got bigger and bigger as you got to the bottom. And then they were strung together some kind of way, I guess monofilament or something. And they, you could pull it like from the center and it would just, all the things would drop. And then they did something with the records, like the records were attached to the different levels of the tree. It was really interesting, but I can remember Mom being covered in polyurethane foam dust for so long. And as a little kid, I would say, I want to hug you. And she would say, no, baby, I don't want you to get polyurethane dust on you. And I was so glad when she was finished with that project and we could vacuum and didn't have to worry about her getting polyurethane dust on me, because I wanted a hug.
Mm-hmm. That stuff is a mess.
Even
if it's hacking things like a new, TV or something, it goes everywhere.
I think they sprayed it like gold, or I don't know. I want to say they sprayed it like some color, and the paint helped to keep it from getting dust all over the store.
Wow.
But it was a friend of hers owned a record store called the Gramophone.
Oh,
and
okay.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I was thinking you were talking about peaches.
Oh no, this was one of Mom's friend's sons owned this store, and I want to say it was called the Gramophone. Couldn't even tell you where it was. It was what mall it was in, but it was in a mall somewhere.
You ready to give us some sweet and sour sauce?
Oh, yeah, sure. Let's go for it.
Oh, yay, Clover. So sweet and sour sauce from Clover.
So the sweet and sour sauce for today was inspired by our Reverend Pastor Katie. So shout out to her. So lots of people there's so many different celebrations of Christmas. And a lot of people don't even really call it Christmas. However, there are other holidays as well. So holidays. A lot of people, it's better to say happy holidays because it's so much more inclusive of every single holiday. Like there's Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and Diwali and a whole bunch of other ones. And so it's much more inclusive to say happy holidays. But a lot of people think that that's like disgraceful or something of Christmas, which it's not. It's just more inclusive because, like we were talking about, there's so many different celebrations of Christmas. So it's easier. I'm repeating myself to say happy holidays. But people would be buying something for Christmas and the person checking them out will just be like, happy holidays. And they'll be like, no, it's Christmas. But how are they supposed to know? They don't want to assume. It's not in their job description to assume what holiday you're going to celebrate. So it's easier to say happy holidays and be inclusive. If you were Jewish and you were buying something for your Christian friend for Christmas, they're not going to say Merry Christmas because that's wrong. And they'll probably not get mad about it. But it's just easier to say happy holidays and be more inclusive of everybody.
Yeah. And you shouldn't be defensive like that. I mean, if somebody says happy holidays, they're actually wishing you something nice, and to snap back at them and be very un-Christ-like is opposite of what Christmas is supposed to be about. So if you do celebrate Christmas and you're hollering at people for not saying Merry Christmas, what kind of representation are you giving us as Christians?
You can't
make us look bad.
Yeah, you can't say keep the Christ in Christmas and then be mean to people. Don't be a Scrooge.
Out of the mouths of babes. Yes, I agree 100%. 100%. Yeah. I mean, especially your point, Priscilla, if somebody's trying to be nice to you, regardless of how they're going about it, why would you want to shoot them down or be ugly? And Clover, I agree with you. You should be inclusive in everything. And that is another reason to say happy holidays.
Oh, well, we also have some sauce.
Our first sweet and sour sauce from Clover.
Yay for sweet and sour.
I was not prepared at all.
That's okay. We go off the cuff most of the time. My sauce for thought kind of goes along with both the hot sauce and the sweet and sour sauce.
There you go.
Okay. My sauce for thought is about and this is, I mean, this episode is not going to be coming out until almost Christmas, right on Christmas. So I don't know if everybody will get a chance to hear it, but it'll do you some good for next year or any other family gatherings if you don't hear it before. If you have someone coming to your family gathering who does not use the same name that they used to use, or the same pronouns that they used to use or that you think they should use, please be considerate of those people and be respectful, even if you don't agree with their choices. And just think of it this way. If someone came to a family party with you and started calling you by a name that you didn't like being called, or started calling you by pronouns that you didn't use, would you like it? Probably not. So let's be respectful and be loving, because names and pronouns are important to the individual, but in the broader scheme of things, it's about caring for one another and not worrying about semantics and words. It's about the heart. So Christmas should be a place where everybody feels comfortable and loved, and not like they're being rejected or disrespected. And here's a little tip for my friends who have made changes to their names and their pronouns. If you're going to be at a gathering and you anticipate some backlash to your choices, or, grumpy old Uncle Ted or whatever is going to, keep calling you by the wrong pronouns or whatever on purpose, because I know there's folks out there who will do it on purpose, like they're trying to make a point. It might be a good thing to shoot them an email or a text message and say, "Hey, Uncle Ted, I just want to make sure that you're aware that I go by Stacy now and I use they, them pronouns, and I would appreciate it if you would try to respect that choice. And I'm sure that it might be tricky to remember, but I just know that you love me and you're going to do your best." And put a real positive feel on it, and speaking things gently like that, I feel like wards off some of the defensiveness.
Yeah.
Which is it's very silly, because other people shouldn't be getting defensive about your choices. But for some reason, it really touches a nerve with some folks. So let's just be gentle with each other.
Amen.
And gently request that you be respected.
I love that.
That's my sauce for thought.
Definitely ties to both of our Clover and I, both of what we said, and I agree 100%. Yeah. And it's actually what my line of thinking about being judgmental is. Why are you judging other people's choices? Just be kind,
Be kind. Be kind to others.
This was some good stuff. We'll have to hear about any traditions other people might have that they want to share.
Yes,
for any of the holidays we are celebrating. What?
I like to hear the weird ones, y'all. What weird stuff do you do?
Yeah, like Krampus. I don't know what that's about. Be interesting. Well, we will be back for a special edition for our 11th episode.
11.
Yeah. But we're still looking for you guys to send us your questions that we can answer in the episode where we answer your questions. We have one. I won't share what it was, but we have one already. So we need some more. We'll try to remind you.
Yeah, I think next week we're talking about New Year's resolutions, huh?
Yeah.
So we'll do some research on that.
Time for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Yeah. And maybe we can come up with some ideas of how to stick to those resolutions.
Yeah. That would help people, I think.
I've only ever stuck to a few. Like I've had a few years, and then I finally stopped making New Year's resolutions. I have a friend that does New Year's resolutions and says, I'm just going to, in general, be a better person. I'm like, I like that. It works. Well, y'all be thinking about what your New Year's resolutions are. Thank you to Clover for joining us today. And we will love to have you back whenever you are ready. You are our favorite, what's the word? Field reporter.
They might be back next week.
Yeah.
What are you thinking of some stuff about resolutions?
There you go. Love to have it. Love to have it. All right. Well, we'll see you in a week. Did you have something else you wanted to add, Priscilla?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys in a week. But until then, make yourself a priority.
And take care of you. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thanks for joining us. Make sure you subscribe to keep up on all the latest sauce. See you next time.